Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a manager here at Plaza Perks. We are a coffee shop cafe that is owned by Parents by Choice. One of the requirements of being a staff at the coffee shop is that you need to be involved with foster care, but we really try to focus on the kids who were a part of foster care because those kids are the ones that are at most risk. Plaza Perks was started by Tony Yandon, who is our director of Parents by Choice. He had a vision that he wanted to be able to see the kids past 18. A lot of times when kids are in foster care, once they turn 18, that's it, they're kicked to the curb. And his idea was if we can do an all-inclusive program that includes mental health services and transitional housing and first employment, we can give the kids that complete package that they need. Over 50% of kids who go through foster care are unemployed or homeless by 24 years old. It's a huge number. And so his vision was if we start this, Plaza Perks, he would be able to give them that foundation, that starting point where they would have that community that knows what they've gone through, that they feel like they're a part of, but also is teaching them real life skills that they can use for the rest of their life. We're perfectly located. So we have child support, we have CPS, we have the welfare office, we have everything right around us. In less than a year, we've seen so much happen and so many lives are changing.
My name is Margaret. I am 19 and I've been with Plaza Perks since October of 2020. Growing up was tough. I don't really feel like I got a chance to be a child, much less a teenager really, because it was sort of being born into survival mode. My mother she had schizophrenia and my father was my father. When I was 13, we got evicted. And so then we were just homeless from there. So then it was mostly, motels if we could or on the streets if we could. But it was for the most part taking care of my mother and trying to keep her alive and my father going to work every day and, coming back to pay for the motel and food. We lived in shelters, when we could, and then on the streets, when we couldn't. So entering the foster care system, I didn't go in the traditional way. It was a little bit unorthodox. My mother abandoned me. So we had been homeless now. It was 2019. It was September of 2019. I remember very distinctly. And so our time had run out at a shelter. My father wasn't around anymore. And so I remember very distinctly one day, she's like, okay, so we're leaving. I'm going to drop you off at the runaway shelter and you can figure it out from there. And I was like, hey, I don't think you can do that. But that she did. And so, as it goes, when you are left there for 21 days, CPS mandatorily has to, file you as abandoned, then you enter the system. So that's how I entered the system. Despite previous CPS involvement, despite me being homeless for 4 years and, visibly abused, neglected, and parentified, so on and so forth throughout my youth, that was how I got abandoned. And entered the foster care system. I was 16 and a half, I was almost 17, and there's a shortage of parents who are willing to take teenagers, especially a teenager who has been homeless, for almost half a decade. So my therapist at the time vouched for me to, no, just, put her in a placement, see how she does. I can assure you that she just needs love. She needs some TLC. And so my adoptive mom's, just the one of them, she was a brand new foster parent. And so then during the interview, the first thing I said was I reached my hand across the table and said, hi, I'm Margaret. Are you going to take me home, please? They totally turned my life around. If it weren't for them, I would probably still be on the streets. I definitely would not be here and I definitely would not be who I am today. I feel like it was supposed to work out that way. I feel like it was supposed to, fall into place the way that it did, though, these were very difficult experiences. I really do feel like it was meant to happen in a sort of woo-woo, way. One of the super awesome social workers, when she was doing a home visit for one of the other placements in the house, was like, hey, so we're about to buy this new building and they're gonna open up a cafe. I know you're irreversibly addicted to caffeine. What do you say? And I was like, absolutely.
It's just really neat to see that people interact with our kids and give them that really good life experience. And people are patient with our kids, so it's really good. They really have a heart and they know that, hey, this is their first jobs. They don't have a lot of experience in, working fast food or getting things done quickly, but we're gonna get it done and it's gonna be fresh.
On the day of my interview, wow, I was getting ready. I was, I popped up out of bed, I put on my favorite music, and I was, getting dressed, get myself all pretty for an interview, right? I got a call from my social worker, and she's like, "Hey, girl." I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" I'm all excited. And she says to me in this really off-kilter tone of voice, she says, "Hey, are you sitting down?" And I'm like, "No, why would I be sitting down? I'm getting ready. I got my interview today. Don't you remember? I have to tell you something." And immediately, I get that feeling, and I'm like, oh no, because there had been a lot of very interesting things that had already happened in this year. The pandemic, my father passing away, yada, yada. You can imagine that when I had found out that my mother had committed suicide, that was very jarring. That's a very jarring phone call to get at 8 a.m. on what was supposed to be, one of the happiest days of that entire, year and in a while, really. When you hear about these things, it doesn't really, the onset isn't instantaneous. But I think that at that point I really didn't know how to react. I hugged my adopted mom, and I clung really tight to her, and I wiped my tears after a minute, and I was like, I'm gonna go back upstairs, they're just getting ready, I gotta go. If Plaza Perks wasn't Plaza Perks, and I had to come into a brand new job and a brand new environment and a brand new building with brand new people, carrying all of that, I don't know how I would have handled it. We take a different approach to our work environment, and that's what I love the most. So it definitely taught me, that it's okay to not be okay. And that's a really, that might be a strange thing to say. We all have traumas. We all have traumas here. And some days, we'll just sit there and be like, today's been a rough day. Let's all sit down and let's all just complain, about stuff that's happening. And then we get it out, catharsis, we hug it out, and then we go back to work. And if one person, really needs like a mental health day, you got it. Don't, no question about it. We take care of each other here. And I feel like that's what I really needed, especially after the series of events before I got hired. Losing both of my biological parents that I'd been with for so long, and, coming into a job, first job, moving out on my own, first time on my own. I needed that. I really did. I really did need that.
There's so much stigma about therapy and counseling and things like that. But the reality is that we all could use it. We've all been through things that are traumatizing. I don't care how good your life was, how much money you had, we all go through things that are traumatizing. And having that extra person there that's on the outside who can help support you through that is so crucial. It's really, really important to have a place where you can belong when you don't have that strong family structure. We have a mascot who is Roasty, who is the dad. We have Toasty, who is a piece of toast, who's the mom. And then we have Teeny, who is a little cup of tea, and she's a foster child. And then we have Roasty Jr., who's a bio child. Moon, one of our kids, she does all of our stuff for like Roasty and does all of our awesome, characters. She draws them on her computer. And I was like, can you create a sign for our cafe that says, we don't just pour coffee, we pour happiness into people's lives? Because I want that to be our mission.
There's two things you can do in life. There's two things. You can roll over and you can go, I'm done with this. I'm done with everything. Everything sucks. I'm gonna lay down and I'm just gonna give up. And what does that get you? That gets you nowhere. That gets you, stuck in a pit, not doing anything. Or you can go, okay, well, gee, that sucked. How can I move forward so that I'm not moping and dragging myself down? Because really, that's what life is. You can give up or you can try and keep going and you can work through it. Don't never give up.
One of the girls gave me a name tag a couple days ago, and it said momager instead of manager. And I was like, I love it. Thank you. That means so much to me. More than they realize. They have no idea that they do way more for me than I do for them. If you're wanting to get involved, just simply reach out. Come by, ask us. We love to chat while we're making food and drinks. We love to feel like we're just, having a family dinner versus, working at a restaurant. So I think that's what makes us different and unique, is that we really care about the people who come and visit us.